Hi everyone, this is Alicia Katz-Pollock at learn.royalwise.com, and today I'm really excited to show you about the new mileage tracker that is just being rolled out in QuickBooks Online. So if you have to drive from client to client, it's really important that you track your business mileage because you get a deduction for every mile that you drive. And typically what you do is if you're using your personal car for business, all your car expenses are personal expenses. They don't hit your QuickBooks at all. You pay for your own gas, you pay for your own maintenance and all of that. But if you keep a careful log of the clients that you drove to and how many miles you drove, then you can deduct the current deduction from your taxes, which right now is 58 cents per mile. If you need to track this information, when 10 years ago, I was sitting there with a notebook in my car, and every time when I got home, I would say, today I drove to this client, and here were my miles, and that was my backup, and I added it up. More recently, I've been using MileIQ, which is a paid subscription service. But what that does is it has a mileage tracker on my phone. And so as I'm driving from place to place, it records every trip. And then at the end of the month, I swipe business, business, personal, personal, business, business, personal, personal. And then that gives me a written record of all of my trips for taxes. But that required another subscription. So I am delighted to announce that the QuickBooks mileage tracker is now inside QuickBooks Online. It's been part of QuickBooks Self-Employed for a while, but now you have it in your QuickBooks Online as well. So I want to show you how that actually works. So the first thing that you need is your phone, and you do need to download the QuickBooks Online app onto your phone. Now, once you have it on your phone, then you can log in, and you use the same login that you would use if you were using it on your computer. And once you log in, and note that you do have to be the master administrator to make this work, here's what you're going to see. So you'll look in the left navigation and you'll find mileage, and you'll tap on mileage, or if you go to the plus sign, you can add mileage from there. And then you'll get this welcome screen to help you set up your mileage tracker. And the first thing that comes up on my iPhone is that the background location is not enabled. So now I have to go to settings. And when I am in settings, then I click on location, where it says location always, but I'll tap on that and I'll make sure that it says always here. It might say never by default. Then once I get out of that screen and I get back to the mileage tracker, now it says QuickBooks would like to access your motion and fitness activity to enhance the accuracy of my trips. And so I'm going to go ahead and say okay to that also. So now I am ready to take a drive and track the trips. At least you think you are, because when you next click plus to get started, now it has some more location settings. So we've already set location to always, and I've turned motion and fitness on, but I also need background app refresh turned on as well. So I'll tap on that, and it takes me into my settings. So when I'm in my settings, now what I need to do is tap on general down at the bottom. And when I'm in general, I can see on the list background app refresh. When I go into background app refresh, it now asks me when do I want to do it, Wi-Fi and cellular, but you definitely have to be cellular because you're not going to be on Wi-Fi as you're driving around. Now I'm in my background app refresh, and you can see here that I only have two of them on, QuickBooks and Pokemon Go. I tend not to turn on background app refresh on a lot of my apps because it does mean that the app is constantly going and getting new material and checking in with their servers, and that's going to drain my battery life. So I limit it just to the things that I intentionally want to. Now with QuickBooks Online and Pokemon Go, I don't find that much degradation in my battery life, so I'm perfectly happy with those two. Now I go back to my QuickBooks app, and I'm all set and ready to go. Now, when I head over to my mileage, I can now see the different trips that I have. And you can see here that mine has names on it, All-Star Accounting, Pros, and Other Worlds. That was something that I did. When you start using this for the first time, you're just going to see the site addresses. But notice here that you can actually see on a map where they are. And that's going to help jog your memory to know if it was business or personal, and you have real GPS coordinates for where your car started and stopped. The way that I got it to say All-Star Accounting, Pros, and Other Worlds was to tap on one of the addresses. And so this was the original address, and I want to add it to my favorite locations. So I go in and I change the name and type it to be what I want it to be. You can just have them be work and school and home, but you can actually name the businesses that you are driving around to. And so that's why it now says All-Star Accounting Pros and Other Worlds. Now notice in the bottom half of this image, it says business. This is where I begin swiping left and swiping right. So going to Accounting Pros was my networking meeting, and the bottom one was me going from home to the networking meeting. So I'm swiping to the left, and it says business. So that one is swiping it as, marking it as business. If it was personal, I would swipe from left to right. Now it also wants me to add a purpose. And so this was a networking meeting, so I've typed in networking meeting. And now after I go through all of my mileage, it now gives me a summary. So I can see here that for the trips that I've had so far in September, I had a potential deduction of $7.07. Hey, I'll take every penny that I can get. And then it shows me in the last 7 days what were all the different drives. And then when you're done, it says, yay, tax saving ahead, you're en route to your deductions. So now that we have seen what it looks like on your phone, let's take a look at what it looks like on your computer. So I'm going to share my screen with you. So where I am is over here on mileage on the left-hand side, and now I can see all of the trips that I have taken. At the bottom, I can see the ones that were on the app. Since then, I have done a couple more. So this used to say $7 to match what you just saw on the app, but now it says $16. So this is another place that I can come in to categorize my miles. And there's a filter on the left-hand side. So if you just want to see the ones that you have not reviewed yet, you can filter those out. So now I can see each of the addresses from where I have driven. And when I click on it, I can see the drop-down map here. Now there is a pencil to edit here, but it doesn't actually name it the way it does on the app. So for some things, I actually prefer the app. I can add in a trip purpose right here and say that this is for a client, or I can name the client. I'll make sure that this is marked as business, and then I'll click save. And so I can go through here now and just mark each of these as business. Now it wants to know the purpose, and so this is another client. They're all clients. See if I can spell client. And then I'll save. And so you simply go through. Now, when any of these are personal, then I can also just click on personal, and then it doesn't ask for a reason. It just marks it as personal. Now, right now I have it on unreviewed, and so every time I click on one of these, it's disappearing. But if I left this on all, I would see all of my business trips and all of my personal trips, and then I can categorize them appropriately. So what this now gives me is a total mileage deduction. It'll tell me how many miles I've driven, and that is all of the miles, not just the business miles or the personal miles. This is everything that's been driven. And if I want to add a trip manually, I can click on Add Trip up at the top, and I can type in the number of miles. If I want to, I can add start addresses and ending addresses so that you can type them in. If I want to export my trips, I can click on this little export button on the upper right, and that opens up a CSV file. And so now I have an Excel spreadsheet showing me what all of my trips are, so I can have a written log for it. And that's how to use the mileage tracker. Personally, I'm absolutely excited about it. Some people are concerned about having it always on your phone. For privacy reasons, personally, as opposed to using Add Trip and having to manually type in all of my trips, I'm much happier with this. I'm not concerned about my privacy. If I do something wrong, if they think I've done something wrong, I am very happy to have my alibi right here on the phone saying, nope, I can't have done it because I was at this location at this time. So thanks for watching my little tutorial about the new mileage tracker. I'm really excited about it. I hope you are too. This is Alicia Katz-Pollock at learn.royalwise.com. Feel free to leave comments in my blog, and I will see you in the next class.